About your defense moving forward, how much does it change with the motion offense? Because you gave a lot of points against Ohio State, uncharacteristic of you. Is that the result of going to this motion offense or not?
No, I don't think that has anything to do with it. We gave up 65 points, 65 shooting percentage, 32 points in the fourth quarter. If you could have been here at 6 o'clock this morning when we worked on defense and our kids saw the film, it was pretty embarrassing. We took a step and a half back as a basketball team after that performance against Ohio State. Their guards are good, but we're going to face some good guards in the SEC too. It was a team-wide thing. Our man-to-man defense was that bad. We even switched to zone, and it was that bad. Ohio State, when we're up 19-4, switched to the zone. That gave us some problems. We still shot 48%, but it was still, our offense was standing around and our defense was standing around. We were not moving our feet at all in the second half. We got what we deserved in the second half. And Mitchell is probably the best guard by far we have faced this year. And when you look at the two great players at Duke and the two players there and the kid at Cal, which we stopped her, and then the UCLA kids, we've seen everything that we're going to see in the SEC just about already. So it's helping us prepare for the long part of the season. We've got some defensive problems, but I've got some offensive problems against the zone too I've got to work out.
The schedule that you've played overall, how do you feel like your team has played as a whole through the entire schedule?
Once you're through with losing a ball game, you sit back and reflect, and we're 5-1, ranked number, I guess 11 probably in USA Today and 12 in AP. That's pretty good. At least we're playing the risk-reward games where a lot of teams are not. I think us and South Carolina and Tennessee, the three of us were picked 1, 2, 3, have played the three best schedules. That's what's expected. And some of the others are not playing the schedule, so you get a little bit of fool's gold about how good you are until you face competition. You were able to see our men play well when they face competition this past weekend, and that's going to make them a better team once they get to conference. I like our schedule. We're right in the middle of it. We're going into Game 5 of this 10-game trip and playing Hawaii. At Hawaii, it's difficult, even though it's not on their gym. It's Hawaii. How do you say it? BYU Hilo or what?
BYU Hawaii.
BYU Hawaii. It's supposed to be a nice gym, but it's still Hawaii. Still will be Hawaiian officials. And so I just got finished watching the South Carolina game, and Dawn was pretty upset at the officiating. So hopefully we'll play better, but we got to play faster. Okay, it's not your typical Hawaii team that we've played before where they'd have a motion offense and run out and the girls would be about 5'4" to 5'7" and be shooting threes all over the place. They got a little bit of size about them, and they want it to be more of a half-court game. And we've got to turn it into a full-court game.
You look at your offense. Is you still going to get quality out of your post? Is that one of your concerns moving forward? Mm-hmm. Not necessarily get a lot of scoring, but just when they touch the ball, to be able to do something.
We got to create space for them. They're having trouble scoring in a crowd, and whether I'm running motion or set plays. Against Ohio State, we didn't have to run much man. We were up 19-4 in transition basketball and our press and getting to it, and then we saw nothing but zone the next 34 minutes of the game. Against Cal, we saw both, and we executed very well. It's tough for me to figure out how much time do I want to spend on a motion offense and how much time do I want to spend on running my set stuff that I know will work, that has always worked. And I'm juggling that right now. we're shooting 48% for the year or something like that. So we're doing some good things, whether it's a zone, man, or motion. But the majority of our man-to-man offense have been scored with my old stuff, not the new stuff. The new stuff, we've got to figure out how to cut harder, move quicker, trust each other, and be able to pass the ball better than what we're doing. And that just comes with time, and I wish I'd have started it in June, but during your summer workouts, you're not working on motion offense, you're working on the fundamentals and the skill work to get your kids ready for fall workout. But we worked on it yesterday at practice. I made it a point that my first group stayed on defense the majority of the time, which they really needed help. And I worked with my second group on offense, being able to get them to score. Because this is, when you're playing 2 games as quick as we're playing, this is where you want to be able to use your bench a little bit more, like we were able to against Cal. Our bench wouldn't have helped us against Ohio State, because basically those teams were playing 7-8 players as well.
When you make a trip like this over to a place like Hawaii, I mean, again, you're there to play basketball, but do you treat it as a little bit of a reward for your team at all to make a trip like this to a non-conventional place? This
is Coach Starkey's 11th trip. When he used to be on the men's side, Dale Brown used to go just about every year. Then he went on the women's side. It'll be my 6th trip, I believe, to Hawaii with different teams. And my first time to play over on the North Shore. I'm looking forward to it. I'd like to go out at the beach and not think I'm going to get a tan or anything, but I'd like to go out there and see those big waves on the North Shore where they have all the contests and everything. As soon as we get off the plane, we're headed straight to Pearl Harbor. I do that with every team that I have. And after Pearl Harbor, we'll take them downtown and let them do the International Bazaar and all of that on Honolulu. And that's what the kids like, because that's cheap shopping. And then we'll drive over an hour and a half to get to the North Shore. The next day we'll practice, and a little bit of time for the beach that afternoon before we eat and everything that night. But we're going to a luau Thursday night, Germain's, and that's always the best luau. We'll roast a pig or something like that, have a good time, and then Friday, Saturday you're playing. Taking a red-eye flight out again Saturday, get in here at 7:30 in Houston. Then get back to the gym about 11 o'clock, work out for about an hour and a half, get ready for SMU at 11 o'clock in the morning the next day. That's just travel. When you're young, you can do it better.
Give you an opportunity to give your thoughts on the 2 Courtneys with the 2 SEC players back to back.
Like I said before, without whining about it, I think we're sort of the team that everybody's forgotten about. They just expect us to be in the top 10 or top 20 each year, and the seats are going to be filled and everything like that, and we're going to win 20-plus games and all of that. There's never a given. I'm proud of those 2 kids for how hard they've worked, but they've had to earn every bit of it because we haven't been getting the compliment scoring from our 4s and 5s right now. Jordan is leading the SEC in three-point percentage right now. She is playing very well coming back from ACL. What we've got to always do is develop the bench so when we get into foul trouble, like when Jordan got into foul trouble, we're up 19-4. Backup came in, we were barely up 2 at half where I could get Jordan back in there. But you've got to be able to rest a kid if she's got 2 fouls if you're in the lead. If we were behind 19-4, we'd have played Jordan through her 3rd foul. But when we're ahead 19-4, she's got to sit, trust your backups that they can play at this level.
Specifically, Courtney Williams, what does that mean to her to get that player of the week for the first time since she's been here? She's been one of your best
She's
players.
the most least protected player in the SEC for a guard as far as getting fouls called, okay? she goes to the basket 8 out of 10 times, okay? And she's rarely going to the free throw line. And a lot of that is just reputation and everything like that. Some of it's her fault because she's got to learn how to score with contact. But at the same time, I'd like to see her protected a little bit more, as many touches that she's getting, because she is, what has she shot, 30 times or 40 times more than Walker has. Walker is leading the SEC for guards in field goal percentage, shooting over 60. That's the best I've ever had with any guard, any time, shooting it at that good of a percentage that she's got. But Williams, we're going to keep creating offense for her because she can create just like a Daniel House can create on the men's team. Courtney Williams can do the same thing for us. And so we're trying to put her in a lot of different positions, even at the point guard position, to try to get her the easier shots.
Of your new players, who has impressed you the most so far this year?
Well, Howard with her rebounding, but she's been inconsistent on learning the offense. And that's what's holding her back right now. It's just so much throwing to an 18-year-old to learn motion offense, to learn set plays and defensive principles and all the inbounds and sidelines. She just wants to hoop. Well, hooping doesn't get it done when you're playing Ohio States and Dukes and teams like that. You have to know the game a little bit better. We've got to do a better job of teaching, but it's all of a sudden it's like an hourglass. That sand is coming through. Since we're going to Hawaii, the sand is coming through, and we've got to get it done a lot quicker. That's on us as coaches and teachers to get it. Danny's having to learn how to play with athletic guards that can do everything that she can except a little bit faster. And so she's having to learn how to play defense with her head more than just her feet, to cut the angles off, to get there before them by not trying to outrun them, but outthink them and outsmart them and play a little bit smarter on both ends of the court.
The Courtney's mentioned maybe improved chemistry on the team this year. Do you see that, and what's maybe led to
We do.
In your eyes, what's led to that?
Jordan Jones, senior leader. When you have seniors that can lead and understand their role and not be thinking of just this is their contract year to go into the league and everything like that, they really want to leave a legacy. And to me, you've already left a legacy. You won the first SEC championship. You've been to the Elite Eight. You've been to 2 other NCAA tournaments. But that's not good enough when you compare that to the legacy of that class before that won the whole thing. They get that from us and from the fans thrown back at them all the time. And so a lot of times they would like to just play with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder that they have, that they're not getting the recognition that I think this team deserves. We beat Duke and SMU. Nothing in the battalion Monday or Tuesday about us. Okay? Well, this is the thing. This is our slice of the pie that we have to earn on the paper. Okay? This is where we are. And it's my job to keep us relevant with y'all and with the media and with Wax getting out as much coverage. This isn't sour grapes. We're the highest ranked team on this campus and have been for the last month. Okay? Period. The highest ranked team on this campus for the last month. And what we're going to try to do is we got to prove it every night, because the entertainment dollar is tough. It's spread out. And it's tough finding so many things to go to, because our men are playing very well, and I think this is a special, special men's team. Football's football. It doesn't matter if we're 0-10 or 10-0. Football's football, and it drives the money train, and that's the way it should do. It helps the rest of us. It helps us in recruiting so huge. The television games that we have coming up and the ones that we've already had, sometimes that helps us, sometimes that hurts us. it helps us with our fans all over the country. It hurts us with our local fans because if the men played the night before, they can watch and go to the game. They'll watch us on TV the next night because there's only so many nights you can spend away from your family and everything. So I get it. So what I've got to do is find some new fans to add to what we have.
Gary, you talked about opponents helping you build for the SEC. Was Hawaii on that list? Will they help you build where you're trying to go?
Sure, you're playing on basically on their island. You're playing a different style of ball, particularly Brigham Young, who's very good. But Hawaii, I think, is 5-2 right now, or something like that, and Brigham Young's 5-3. What is it? 4-3, 5-3, something like that. It's an away game. It's tough. And they'll get us ready because they also like to play what I call the bank robber defense. Hands to the sky, try to squeeze you, and my post players have got to learn to do it. In the SEC, they play a little bit higher and they try to block everything. So it should be a good experience for Kyla and Rachel. They have got to increase their scoring and get more touches, but you can also get touches by earning them on the offensive boards, in which both of them need to do a better job there.
Anything else? Any questions on SMU? Is that too far?
The elementary school day, because you guys will miss me. And shoot, Cease doesn't even wake up by 11, does he? On Monday, that's his day off. But it's going to be large, just like we had before. I expect 7,000 to be at that ball game, even though a lot of our season ticket holders cannot be there because some of them have day jobs. Most of them are retired. But the student body's got to go to class. But we do have a large contingent from Bryan. College Station is sending us the 6th graders, and then we have a lot of the surrounding schools. So I think there's already 4,600 already set just with students coming. And our marketing department's worked very hard on that. It's a large undertaking also to be able to find bus drivers to take these kids. And that's a hard thing for schools to do. But SMU's a lot better this year. Last year was the worst year they've had in a long, long time, but they have a bunch of transfers eligible. They'll be a lot better, particularly with their inside game.